Hi everybody, Russ from My Hammers 11. Hope you're safe and well. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing, hitting the bell icon so you're made aware of any time new content on. As always, let's thank our channel sponsors. I've got it. Untuck it. I actually managed to do it first time. Hope everyone is safe and well. This is the inaugural, the first episode of a new series we're going to be trying on My Hammers 11. So hopefully you like it. Something a bit different. And we're going to talk to other fans. There's other fans out there. There are other fans that don't support West Ham for some reason. Are you joking? So we're calling this new series Outside the Bubble. You see, bubbles as in West Ham and bubble, social bubble. Oh, I don't just throw a show together. That's true. So what we're going to do is going to get people from other teams on, from other YouTube channels, and we're going to talk to them about their season and how their season's going, and then we're going to try our hardest, and this one is quite trying, to be honest. Put together an 11 of players who have played for both clubs to show that we're all the same underneath. Doesn't matter what jersey we wear, we're all human beings. So today's guest is actually a Sunderland fan. So we're going to bring him on. He runs a YouTube channel called My Sunderland XI. That's a good idea. Isn't it? Look, we've even got a little banner for it. So I'm going to bring on Matt. Me and Matt have been talking for a few months now. Oh, God, bring him back in. How you doing, buddy? You all right?
Yeah, I'm not too bad, thank you, Russ. Thank you for having me on.
Well, congratulations for being the first numero uno.
I'm very, very honoured, and and I got a lot to thank you for. Really helped me get all set up with the new channel, My Sunderland 11. Because I think it's a great idea, to be fair, and I'm one of those fans that doesn't really like hearing about what's going on currently, because there's so much of it. Every single Sunderland YouTube channel, it's all about what's happening now, and there was a lot about the takeover. And then I prefer listening to people's own stories and what happened 20, 30 years ago. So I thought let's be the first person to do that.
Yeah, exactly. And you're doing very, very well. For those who don't know, so Matt runs a My Sunderland 11 channel. They're set up with the Sunderland Food Banks and the Sunderland Fans Museum as well. So, you've had some fans on, you've had some Sky Sports presenters on, you've had some ex-players. So you're doing well, buddy. You're doing well, innit? You're getting there. It's good.
Yeah, it is definitely, and I've been quite overwhelmed really with the amount of people that have supported it and that are actually willing to come on. I gave Tom White, the Sky Sports News presenter, I gave him just a message on Instagram, and he responded almost immediately. And and it's fantastic, really. And I've got some ex-Sunderland players. I've got a few lined up, and it's been absolutely brilliant. So I'll stop after I've interviewed every single fan of Sunderland, and I absolutely love it.
I know what you mean. And when you interviewed the old Whitey boy, he remembered you. He remembered your email from years ago. You sent them into Sky Sports. That's quite impressive.
Yeah, well, it was actually when Paolo Di Canio was announced the Sunderland manager, and I was 9 years old at the time, and I just remember my dad the fans were sending in their emails of what they thought of the of Paolo Di Canio taking charge, and a lot of managers, a lot of fans were like, I'm not too sure about this because he just finished managing Swindon, and then he came from Swindon to Sunderland in the Premier League. But then my dad emailed in and went, I'm looking forward to Paolo being our new manager. I think we'll stay up from Matthew Lead, 9 years old, and then he's there with Charlotte Jackson, who's Chris Coleman's wife. And he's just like, I can't believe that 9 years old he's still up at 9:45 at night, as something like that. But he's still. I actually met him an away day at Wickham, and I reminded him of that, and he just went, because it was at Easter time, and I sent him a picture in with me holding an Easter egg, and then I was telling him, and I was thinking he did no way he remembers, and he was going, "Oh, with the Easter egg," and I was like, "Yeah."
Oh, I love it.
And he's going, "Oh, it's so great to meet you." But so me and Tom White are best mates now.
You're best mates. That's it now. You're practically best mates. He knows your Easter eggs. He remembers you when you was 9 years old. And the season so far is, you see, you're in the playoffs. You go. Well, you're not going to Wembley, but the team are going to Wembley again in the EFL Trophy. So, and the takeover. It's all happening over there, isn't it? All happening over your side.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot been happening really. It's never what you find is if you support Sunderland, it's never boring. And there's always something going on. There's always someone complaining. There's always someone celebrating. It's just never ever boring. Never a dull day. We've had a lot of things go on this season. A lot of things. Our owner who came in when we first got relegated from League One, and then initially it all seemed the best thing ever because we had an owner that was doing podcasts, speaking to fans. Before him, we had an American owner, Ellis Short, who didn't speak to any press and do a single interview. And then we had this and we thought, oh, this is brilliant. But then it came very apparent that the person that took Sunderland over wasn't really capable of running a big football club. He just came from running Eastleigh, in the National League. And he tried to run Sunderland like a National League club. And, for maybe a bit of fan engagement initially, it was quite nice to have the owners in the pubs drinking with the fans. But in the long run, it didn't work out. No. However, now we've got an owner who's 23 years old, a billionaire. His mum's worth 9 billion. I think because they're all involved in oil. So advice to anyone, if you ever want to be rich, when the people teachers ask you in school, what do you want to be when you're older? Just say, I want to get involved in oil because you'll be a billionaire in trading oil. So, plenty of things are looking up and it's been difficult. We've had a very up and down season, sacked a manager. It's been very up and down, but I think now we're in a good run. We beat Doncaster 4-1, Burton 3-0, Fleetwood 2-0, and now it's just got to go on a good run to the end of the season, really.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you said you won your last 3 as well, and so realistically, I mean, you settled in the playoffs, really. I mean, there's a few teams, there's always something that will happen, but you want to go up first time. You want to go up. We don't want to go up in the playoffs, do you? You want to get those top two spots, innit? Top 2 spots.
Well, absolutely. And our first season in League One, we were so. If you look back at the table with the amount of games left, we had about 2 or 3 games in hand on people in the. So, let me put this to you right. We were 2 points off the top 2 with about 3 games in hand on the team in the top 2. 2 points off, and we still managed to not get promoted. That was in the last 5 or 6 games, and we still managed. So I don't know what it is with Sunderland. It was the same in the Premier League, but the other way around. We'd have an awful season, and then we'd have a really good ending. We'd beat Man United and Chelsea, and it was really weird how that worked. But for us, it just went the other way. We played well all season, and then towards the end, we just completely fell off. We've got to go up first time. We'll go first time, third time, third time in the top 2, definitely.
Yeah, and I imagine then it'll be another Netflix series out of that.
Oh God, no more with the Netflix. Honestly,
what's your thoughts? What's your thoughts, Matt, about sort of big? Because I enjoyed. I enjoyed it from obviously an outsider's perspective, and I think they're great. But from a team, obviously, I haven't been fortunate enough for the team to be, like Tottenham or Man City or yourselves or Leeds. As a supporter, sort of showing all your dirty laundry on Netflix or Amazon Prime. How do you feel about that?
Well, see, I would have loved the documentary to have been filmed in maybe a better season. If the Netflix documentary was filmed and we had Sam Allardyce as the manager, and we finished that Premier League season where we were literally like relegation fights are over and we're going to push on and be sort of a top half of the table team, because that's how we felt. We really felt we were going to do that. So if it was filmed then that would be brilliant. But the season it was filmed, first of all, the season that it was the first season was probably one of the worst seasons, the worst season in the club's history. Without a doubt. And the club was falling apart. Most people getting at home was probably 20,000. And I think from that Netflix documentary put an opinion, a lot of people's fans' minds that it was, well, Sunderland's the team with the fans that no one wants to go watch their games, but that's not true. So I think for a lot of people, it put that idea of that Sunderland had fans that didn't want to go and watch their team at home. But you have to realise it was the worst season in our club's history. And when we were going there every week and getting hammered off Burton Albion, 3-0, that's just an example. But if we don't, it's horrible to watch that. It's absolutely awful. And to just see this, the club was dying, and no one really wants to go see that. So I don't think it put that club in particularly good light. However, I do think it was good to just show the supporters, some of the supporters, especially in the second series, how, you know, this annoys me. Some Portsmouth fans that really annoyed me in the second season. We went to Wembley for the Checkatrade Trophy final, and they were going, "Oh, look at all these loyal Sunderland fans walking out after we've scored at Wembley or whatever." And I'm like, I didn't see any loyal Portsmouth fans in Trafalgar Square the night before. 20, 30,000 mental fan. I was there, and I have to tell you, it was one of the most incredible experiences ever. Walking out of Covent Garden Station and seeing just a sea of red and white, and I'm like, this is our club. We are not the club everyone thinks we are. Where we don't want to go watch our games. 40,000 of us have come down to London to what, and it's, for a lot of people don't have a lot of money, and they've saved up a long time just to go and see their team play. And staying in London for a few nights to some people is really expensive. For everything, the nights out, the game itself, the tickets for a lot of money. So it just shows you really how much we love our club. And it's just a shame the Netflix documentary wasn't in a better season, but the people that made it were Sunderland fans. Production company 473, they're Sunderland fans who made it. So I think it was a horrible season, but we had to try and put the club in the best light we could.
Yeah, and also it wouldn't have been a fun documentary if you were doing really well. That's true. It's like it's all the others. It's like I love the American football ones. All or Nothing on Amazon Prime, and the best ones are when they're doing really shit. So when I think it was the LA Rams, there was a really rubbish one, and it started off with basically the guy saying, "Right, I'm leaving," and that's all set a tone for the. He's going to leave. So if everyone was doing, it's like a Man City one. I thought that Man City one was really boring because they won everything. And the Spurs one was good because it was like Spurs, and we hate Spurs, so it's quite good. But also, you what. So if I didn't mention it, people will have a go at me for it. Obviously, you haven't got a very distinct Sunderland accent, and I know where you live. I know where you live. So why are you a Sunderland fan, man? Considering you live in the heartbed of Essex, why are you a Sunderland fan?
Well, I mean, simple short answer is my dad. He is from Sunderland, moved down here. A lot of people from Sunderland have exiled out because the truth is that, if you live in Sunderland and you try and start your own business, you aren't going to earn as good money, as you do if you move down here. Sure. And, that's just a simple fact. But the thing is I can't tell you the first day or the first time I found Sunderland and started supporting it. I've always been a Sunderland fan because I've always been wearing a Sunderland kit. It's like you don't remember the first day where you met your mum and your dad. You didn't wake up one day and went, "Oh, you're my mum, you're my dad." It was always Sunderland was my club. And although I was never, I've never lived there, and I don't live there now, I can tell you that it's two different worlds than it is, down here. And you go there and it's a completely different feel. Obviously, in London, there's plenty of teams. You got West Ham, Tottenham, Arsenal. There's loads of clubs, and in Sunderland, it's just one club, one city, and then the whole city and the whole sort of northeast will revolve around Sunderland. Obviously, you have Newcastle and Sunderland. There's two parts in the northeast. It's black and white and red and white. There's nothing else. And so you can imagine when them two they come together, biggest rivalry ever. But more about why I support Sunderland. I mean, I have to tell you that it's just when I go to games, and it's about being part of something, I think. And although I'm not from there, I still feel just as part of it as fans who've been born and bred there. It's just it's absolutely lovely, really, to be part of something. And I love it. I wouldn't have it any other way. I went to school for plenty of people who supported West Ham, supported Arsenal, supported Tottenham, and honestly, it just you support your team and you're loyal to it and you stick with it. So that's what I've done.
Yeah, no, totally, man. I totally get it. No, I totally understand. And it's like, it's sort of like, for a lot of people who are West Ham fans, are the same thing. They could have easily been an Arsenal or Tottenham fan or a Liverpool fan, but families or they've just selected a team they switched the telly on and it was West Ham and obviously, I said obviously your dad's a big is obviously a big Sunderland fan as well, and his accent sounds like he's from Sunderland, so it's okay. But yeah, I know exactly what you mean, and you're right, and you're obviously doing the show, doing the channel, you're going to be talking to guys from all over the world, hopefully, who support Sunderland.
Yeah,
and that's
exactly.
brilliant. You do that. That's brilliant.
Yeah, and do you know, I think people will ask, what's your biggest challenge of trying to do the series, and honestly, it never is where I'm from, because I can think maybe some Sunderland fans think, why is this guy? I might be here going, he's the sort of the spokesman for the Sunderland fans, where he's not from Sunderland or whatever, but you see me in a Sunderland quiz and I'll win it all day long. Do you know what I mean? I'm very knowledgeable about the club. And I know pretty much everything about the club, and I don't think anyone could question that the love or interests I have about the club.
Yeah.
And the only thing that's probably I found difficult about it is probably just my age. And I find, because I just want to have a bit more of a conversation about players who played. I had Chris Turner, the goalkeeper.
Yep.
Who came on. Played for Sunderland 40 years ago, and I wish I could have better conversation. Obviously, my dad wrote down on my notes for me about all these players, because he remembers his stories, and I was asking about. We had a lovely conversation, but I wish I probably knew a bit more. I
know exactly what you mean. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. I mean, even more so. I mean, it's me. It's like I'm exactly the same. So we had a guy on last week, a guy called Brian Deere. So Brian Deere played in the '60s for West Ham. He won the European Cup Winners' Cup. He played. He's got a picture of him behind on his shelf of him walking out with Bobby Moore at Wembley for the 1965 European Cup Winners' Cup final. And obviously, I wasn't around to see him play. But the stories. You'd maybe have liked to had a more, you're right, sort of a more engaging interview rather than just listening to him. But I mean, there's no, they appreciate that as well, and the fact that they appreciate that someone wants to hear their stories and talk to them about it, and that's why I think, I mean, if I'm interviewing someone like Shaka Hislop or someone like that, obviously I know all your stories because I saw him play, and I know, so it was a bit more of a. It was a bit more of a two-way conversation rather than just listening to Brian talk, but it was incredible listening to him about these things. And, in the 60s, and you've got like, I mean, where, I know, we both live, we used to be in the same places together. So he was saying how he used to run around Epping Forest, all the way around there, up to Chigwell, used to run bloody round to Havering, all the way back to Chadwell Heath, like miles and miles and miles. Literally, he'd have a bloke on like one of the coaching staff would be on their boot of their car with a pair of binoculars, making sure they're doing the running. They run all day, miles and miles and miles, back to Chadwell Heath, and they'd have a roast dinner waiting for them, and stuff like that. It's just like absolutely mental. But I love it. And it's great. I don't know if I'm the same as you, but I get quite nervous talking to the ex-players because I want to make sure I get all their stats right when I'm talking to them, and their seasons and stuff like that. I like talking to the fans because it's just one bloke to another bloke, but particularly making sure you get because you never do it on Wikipedia. Never look on Wikipedia because it's always just league. They forget, they don't do the proper on the little thing. It's never proper. So that's the only trouble with them. But anyway, it's good that you're knowledgeable, Matt. It's good that you're knowledgeable because that's the point of what we're going to try and do today. So, as I said at the beginning, the idea is we're going to find out how why Sunderland, why everything's doing, how your season's going, and now we're going to try and make an 11 of players who have played for both clubs. Now, I've probably not picked the best team to start with, to be honest, because you and me, we both would text each other again. It's a good idea in goal. Right, okay. We've almost fallen at the first hurdle, to be honest. And having interviewed a lot of, and having spoken to a lot of West Ham historical aficionados, it turns out that there has never been a goalkeeper who has played for both clubs. Never.
They never have. We've had to try to do something similar. And I just want to say also, before we go through the team, that there are, with the goalkeeper as well, there are two other people. Well, there's two people, right? One of them has never played for Sunderland, but he has an association with Sunderland.
Yeah.
And there's also one player in this team who's never played for West Ham, but he did something at Upton Park. Which
I like it. I like it.
So which a lot of us remember him for.
What we're going to do is, what I think we're going to do, this is the first time we've done it, so we're going to sort of, we'll both say, so we'll do the first position. You'll say you can go, I'll let you go first. You go who you get, and I'll go who I've got, and then we can go, right, okay, we'll pick, and then we decide. We decide who's not who's the best, but who's the, because you'll have an idea, I'll have an idea. As I said, it's one of those things where there's no. Apparently, there was a goalkeeper who played in goal for the Thames Ironworks. That's obviously before West Ham were an official team, an amateur side, called Mr. Sunderland.
Yeah.
That is
I know
it.
my dad was telling me about that. Yeah,
that is literally it. And I mean, your dad wasn't around old enough to see him play, but 1895, whatever it was. But anyway, so let's have a go and see what we can do. Let's have a go, and we're going to be very well. But it's just a giggle. It's just a giggle, but it's just because it's just trying to get And basically, anyone watching, you all have your own ideas. Whack them in. Let's get we'll have a mass debate about this. Right, okay, let's go. So in goal, right? So who's your keeper? Who's going to be in goal for this combined 11 then, Matt?
Well, I went with someone who's appeared on your channel before. Played for West Ham and was a goalkeeper coach at Sunderland, and that's the only sort of association I can find. I've gone with Jimmy Walker, and that. Pretty much, because that's the only reason I could find. I mean, he's a good character though. I do remember seeing sort of how the clubs do the sort of behind the scenes videos of the matches. The players arrive and players going to go warm up. He was always that one person, just like really enjoying it a lot more than everyone else. He was always dancing to the music, and he was. I mean, he came back. He was a goalkeeping coach for Ipswich. Came back to the Stadium of Light, and he walked down the steps and he was hugging and kissing with everyone. And
I love him.
I'm sure he's a great character.
Yeah, Jim's good. Do you know what? I had two. I put two down. I had Jimmy, and then I know you had Jimmy, so I thought I'd put someone else who was a goalkeeper coach for West Ham this time, and was on the books at Sunderland but didn't play. Chris Woods. Chris Woods, England international, Chris Woods, and that's who I had. But I think we'll have to go with Jim, because if we don't go for Jim, he'll never come on my show ever again. To be honest, so let's look. We're going to do it live. We're going to do it live. Okay, so we'll put Jimmy. Nice. We'll put Jimmy in. So let's put Walker in. So you make sure I just don't. There we go. Walker is in. Right, so Jim's in. All right. Okay. So let's go for your left back, my man. Who are we going to have on your left back?
Well, at left back, I've got Wayne Bridge at left back. There was obviously two left backs. Who played for both clubs. I'll get onto the other one a little bit later because I have fit him in my team somewhere. But I've gone for Wayne Bridge. I don't remember him too much at Sunderland. I think he only came for, I think maybe it was a season and a half or a season. It didn't do too much. I think he sort of came towards the end of his career. But that's the that's who I've gone with Wayne Bridge at left back.
Do you know, I've actually gone for Wayne Bridge at the same reason, because I put the other left back at right back. Because I was struggling a bit with the right back, so hopefully we'll have someone different. But I put Wayne. I won't put who. I originally put the other guy in, but I think we'll talk about the other guy later, because the other guy played for both of us twice. I think. Yes. Both. Yeah, exactly. So, and people know who that is, but we'll put Wayne in. As I said, I think he only played. God, I reckon he only played about 20 games for us. But if I can type, that's the trouble. Why have I thought of that doing this? I can't bloody type. But I think Bridgie was. Again, I think he was part. I think we got him on loan from City. I think at the time. On loan. I think he only played 18 games. I wouldn't say he sort of set the world alight, but didn't score. I think he made a couple of sub appearances or something. We got set. I don't know, but Bridge. Wayne's in. Wayne played for both. What? It counts. Yeah. It counts. Right. Okay. Let's go right back then. Who should we have? Who have you got down for right back?
Well, I've actually got someone. He was on loan at West Ham. I've got from Stoke City. I think Danny Collins.
Danny Collins. I like it. Danny Collins.
Now, a lot of Sunderland fans who love Danny Collins because he works for the club now. Actually, he lives in Durham. And he still loves the club. He's the co-commentator for the Sunderland games with another guy called Frankie. So him and Danny Collins commentate over the Sunderland games. So he's still involved now. He co-hosts the Sunderland podcast. He was an ex-Sunderland captain as well. I think Roy Keane signed him for Sunderland, and he played probably from 2007 2000. No, hang on, 2005 or 2006 to about 2009. So
Brilliant.
quite a few years at Sunderland, and I think he on loan at West Ham as well. So that's what I've gone with.
Yeah, he was on loan from Stoke. I think he made about when he was in the Championship. I think he made about 11 or 12 something like appearances. Again, mainly as a sub. But Danny Collins, I had our mutual friend. I had Mr. McCartney. I put McCartney at right back, but we're going to put Danny Collins in because I think Danny Collins is probably more suited right back than than he was, to be honest.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's put in Danny Collins.
Danny Collins was more of a centre back, but I mean, I think he could do a job at the right back.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Right, I'll put Danny in. So you're doing well so far.
Yeah,
you're doing well so far. We've, at least we've got some fullbacks. Right, centre half. Who's your first centre half then, ma'am?
Well, I'll start with the bad option first. I'll go to the good option afterwards. I've actually gone with someone who is, I think, he started. Well, I'm not too sure whether he started Arsenal or West Ham. But he was in the academy. I've gone with George Dobson.
George Dobson.
I've gone with George Dobson.
Oh, I remember George Dobson. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So George Dobson is. I mean, we've actually put him out on loan to AFC Wimbledon, but he was quite a big player for us last season. He's got we signed him from Walsall. He was quite young. He made over 100 appearances, professional appearances for Walsall at the age of about 19, 20. He was their captain as well. So, I mean, when he came to Sunderland, we thought, all right, we've got quite a good player here. Wouldn't say he's the best player we've ever had by any stretch of the imagination. He's very prone to a mistake. He hasn't had a great season this season. That just shows we've sent him out on loan. But he's more of a midfielder for us. But I think when he sort of started his career, he was the central defender.
Yeah.
And I have got some midfielders already lined up, so I thought I've got to squeeze George Dobson in the team and stick him at centre back.
All right, okay. You're going to put George Dobson in. I'm going to put in Callum Davenport.
Right, yeah.
So Callum Davenport, he was all right for us. Callum Davenport, he was one of those. There was always a bit of a rumor why he stopped playing for us, because I think we got him on loan from, I want to say Tottenham. I think we got him on loan for Tottenham or something like that, and he stopped playing. And there was rumors that he'd got stabbed in the leg or something like that by his friend, or I don't know, but something like that. But yeah, so I think we ended up buying him. I think we got him on loan, then we bought him, then he sort of went away. But he played like 30 odd times for us. I think he scored as well. Really sort of lanky defender. He was all right. He was. I mean, we've had quite a few. I mean, looking through it, we've had quite a few sort of defenders. We'll probably go through who we've had later on, just in case you haven't picked one and I'm slagging them all off. But I'm going to go for Callum Davenport, to be honest, because I think, how many times did he play for them? I should have done my research, to be honest.
Well,
but
on Wikipedia, he says he's made 10 appearances for West Ham and 8 for Sunderland. So
that's 8. He made 10 more than George Dobson. So that's why we'll put him in, because he's actually made a first team. I think that'll be sort of the criteria. If we had to go between the two of them. Oh, look, see, they don't even fit. Bloody Callum Davenport doesn't even bloody fit. So we'll put Callum in. Right, okay. So we've got Callum, so we've got Bridge, we've got Collins. Right, next one. Who is going to be your next centre half there, my friend?
Well, I've got someone who's appeared on your channel before. I'd love to get him on my channel actually as well. I've got Anton Ferdinand.
Yes.
I've gone with.
Yes.
Yes, a centre back. I have to say, I wouldn't say we were overly impressed with him at Sunderland. Although he did have an okay season, probably in the 9-10 season. He had quite a good season. Yeah, I remember he always used to do this thing where when the teams would just come out, they come out the tunnel and then they shake hands and then they're all getting ready. He used to do a thing where he used to run to the corner flag and just clap the flag. He's the only player who did it. He used to sprint to the corner flag, applaud the fans and run back, and we're like, anyway, here comes Anton Ferdinand to the corner flag. I think, and then just towards the end of his time at Sunderland, I think he went to QPR afterwards, and I don't think we a lot of Sunderland fans were that impressed with him. But I mean, he still, overall has been a good player for a lot, a few different teams, and for West Ham as well.
Yeah, yeah. No, I put Anton in as well. So that was one we agreed with, which was good. We could have also had in centre half Matthew Kilgallen. Do you remember Matthew Kilgallen?
Yeah, do you know what? Yeah. I was thinking about him as
Yeah,
well, and uh, that's a pretty good shout. To be fair, now I'm just thinking I might put him in ahead of Dobson, but I mean I love Dobbo, so I wouldn't take him out. But yeah, Matthew Kilgallen, we actually had a chant with him because he signed for us and then like didn't play for a whole season, and then suddenly one match just came on. Then all the Sunderland
brilliant.
fans were singing, "You thought he was dead. You thought he was dead." Matt Kilgallen, you thought he was dead, and then he just came on. I think he made a handful of appearances, and then yeah, he went really well. I think he's a player who sort of struggled with injuries a little bit, but
Yeah,
a
yeah,
very decent player.
yeah. I mean, he went to Leeds, didn't he? I'll keep. I'm going to keep that because I think we've got someone from Leeds coming on soon. So I'm keeping that one in the
Yeah.
back pocket. We also could have had Tal Ben Hayim.
Oh yes, of course.
Tal Ben
I, I,
Hayim.
I, I wouldn't say I've seen him that much, but I've seen Dobson and Ferdinand, so that's why I
Yeah,
put them in
that'll
the
do.
team.
Yeah, I was the same as you. I thought when I did it, I thought, you know, I'm going to only do people that I'm not going to go into like the 60s or whatever, like people I've seen as well. And as I said, yeah, Tal Ben Hayim, God, he was one. Yeah, and there's another left back we could have had as well. I think Clive Clark. Clive Clark, you wouldn't have seen it. I think
No, I
I
wouldn't. I
think he
wouldn't.
literally just turned up one day at West Ham and then went back. I think, but anyways, we'll put Anton in just because, as you said, otherwise you got no chance of not getting him on your show if we can't get him in.
Yeah,
Right, so we got so that I mean, yeah, we've done all right. We've managed to get a back four and a goalkeeper. I think midfield we're going to be all right. I think midfield we're not too
I
bad.
think so.
I
Yeah.
think we're okay. Right, let's start with your left wing. Left wing.
Okay. Well, on the left wing, I've gone with George McCartney on the left wing,
Yep.
who did play a little bit further up the pitch a few times for us. And yeah, I was just looking at it back there again. So yeah, he started at Sunderland in 1998, 2006. Went to West Ham 2006, 2008. Went back to Sunderland 2008, 2012. We put him on loan to Leeds twice, then on loan to West Ham, and then eventually did go back to West Ham. And I think it looks like he finished his career at West Ham. So yeah, I mean, yes, someone I've met. I don't remember him too well, to be honest, because I was very young when he was playing at Sunderland when I really started to get into the team. So I do remember him, but yeah, I wouldn't say I remember these certain little moments from him. But yeah, you got to get George McCartney in there. He's played for both
No,
Sunderland and West Ham so many times.
definitely. No, I put him in. No, I tell a lie. I tell you who I put in left wing. I put in, and it was a bit cheeky. I put in David Bellion. Do you? I think because I was really scrabbling around, to be honest. But you're right. But we'll
Yeah,
put George McCartney in. Yeah, as you said, he was. I think he would have been. He was Hammer of the Year runner up for us, which is always like a good accolade if the player sort of gets Hammer of the Year. Sort of the not the the
yeah,
runner up, but yeah, not. Reliable. He would always do a job for us. You wouldn't assume that he's going to let you down. I can't remember any games that he really made any glaring errors. Do you know what I mean? Sort of he
yeah,
just got on with the job. And as you said, he was always going to be in this team because he was at yours twice. He was at ours twice. Oh, it's quite funny. Literally, sort of like tennis,
yeah.
just like bang,
It
bang, bang.
was.
But no, he was a good guy. I like George McCartney.
Yeah. It was like
Yeah,
we had
he's
him, and then it was like we don't want him anymore. You can have him. West Ham, like I don't
yeah.
want him. You
I'll
can
go
have him
lovely.
back.
Go
We
back.
don't want
Yeah.
him. Have him back.
He was part of our promotion season. Yeah, he would have been part of the promotion season 05. Yeah, he would have been, I think. No, yeah, because he came back. Yeah, because it's 06. I think he came back and then promotion. He would have probably played the Premier League, a couple of games in the Premier League. I'm saying that because I know exactly someone who always watches the videos called Kent Hammers, and he'll be typing that and telling me yes. So I think he played the Premier League like 20 odd appearances that game as well that season anyway. So fair play to the man. So we'll put George McCartney because it's a bit better than David Bellion, to be honest. Just
Yeah.
slightly better than Bella's. Right, okay, so here we go. Okay, so that's your left wing. Let's go right wing. Let's go the other side.
All right, then. So yeah, you have to hear me out on this one.
Okay.
So I've gone with someone who played for Sunderland, never played for West Ham. His name's Wabi Kazri. You might have to Google that to try and put it to get the spelling right.
I'm just not going to do it. I'm just going to let you talk about him.
Well, okay. Then so Wabi Kazri, Sam Allardyce signed him in the January of 2016, and he actually turned out to be
I know. I know
quite a good player. And it was actually the last season at Upton Park. You know, you'll definitely remember. And we played away at Upton Park. We were wearing a green kit that day, and all of our fans in the end were wearing a green kit because the club decided that they were going to give out the green shirts for free. So everyone was wearing these. You know, these massive men wearing these like small, tight green shirts because they got them for free. So that, you know, they're having a great time. And then we lost 1-0. Antonio scored. I remember this was on BT Sport. But then I remember Kazri in the second half or something like that. We were. He could have put in this cross, and we were in a good position, and he just could have put in this left foot cross, and he decided no. He's going to try a Rabona, and he completely missed the ball. And it was one of the most embarrassing moments, I think, in his footballing career. He just tried this Rabona at Upton Park. And I just remember, I was like, that is so embarrassing. I went to school like on the Monday and just, you know, I went to school with loads of West Ham fans. You know, they didn't shut up about Kazri doing this Rabona for like another year. And it was so embarrassing. And
Brilliant.
Yeah, but I mean, he turned out to be a good player, so I won't put him down too much. But yeah, that was just that was absolutely embarrassing. I just remember he did it at Upton Park, so there's one for the last season at Upton Park. Someone doing that.
God love him. God love him. I've gone a bit different. In that I've put. You might get him later on, so I don't know what to do. I've put Stuart Downing in.
I haven't put him in actually.
I put Stuart Downing in. Because he, for me, was and again, I want to say, and I'm speaking of Allardyce, I want to say Allardyce thing as well, because Allardyce came in. We played the famed false nine. We played this false nine, and then eventually, Downing he wasn't playing a lot of times out on the right, and they put him at the top of the diamond. They called it the diamond, and he was absolutely. And I think he got back into the England squad because of that. So I'm going to put Downing in because I think he was a good player for us, and he weren't too bad at your gaff as well. And you know, he played for both teams, therefore he win. That's like top trumps. Trumps. Didn't play load for Sunderland, but he was top trumps. But Kazri, always good to get. And I remember him because he was always a tricky little player, weren't he? Always a tricky little player, was old Kazri.
Yeah, he scored a good few goals. But yeah, about Stuart Downing, I think he was only on loan at Sunderland for a season, and we could have had him again actually after he left Middlesbrough a few seasons ago, and he went to Blackburn. He's 35 years old. We offered him to come back, but I think. I'm not too sure of Downing. I don't think he really likes Sunderland that much because he's a Middlesbrough. He's a Middlesbrough lad.
Yeah.
And obviously, Sunderland Sunderland fans, they couldn't care about Middlesbrough, if I'm honest. But Middlesbrough, they don't really like Sunderland. And whenever he came, they went, the best of friends of Sunderland fans and Stuart Downing. But he did all right. I've heard he did all right in his little loan spell at Sunderland, and you could tell he was going to be a good player because he was very young. Again, went on to play for Liverpool. And obviously West Ham as well. So, that's fair enough. Yeah, put Stuart Downing in.
Fair enough. Right, we'll put Downing in. So we've got some natural width. That's what I mean. Got natural width in this team. Right. Centre midfield. Who's your first central midfielder then, my friend?
Well, I'll go to someone I never saw play, but he left Sunderland for West Ham, and he did something at Sunderland which a lot of people will remember, and he scored against Newcastle. So I've gone with Don Hutchinson.
Yeah,
and he was at Sunderland for a season, and I remember my dad met him down here, and he always told us a story that West Ham came in for him. They offered him. Don Hutchinson. Wait, hang on. Let me try and say this in the right order. So West Ham came in. They offered Don Hutchinson they doubled his money basically,
Yeah.
and said, look, we'll double your money, come and play for us. And Don Hutchison didn't want to leave Sunderland. He said he was on £5,000 a week or something. They offered him 10. West Ham offered him 10. He went to Sunderland and said, offer me 7 and I'll stay. Sunderland's right now, that's too much money. And he but Don Hutchison said he defies anyone in life to if you're offered a job where they're going to double your money, and if you don't go, then there's something wrong with you. But he says in a footballing choice, that probably wasn't the best decision, because he was having such a great season at Sunderland, and he went to West Ham, and I don't think things worked out as well as he liked them. But yeah, he scored against Newcastle, and I think people will remember him brilliant for that.
Yeah, it's a similar thing when players score against Tottenham for us. That's it; they're in a certain league. But I mean, he played 100 times, I think, for the club, something like that. And 2 spells as well. Another player who's gone and come back. Because we bought him. Yes, because. Yeah, and then we sold him and he came back. The second time he came back from Sunderland, and sometimes, I mean, I don't think he was as prolific second time as he was the first time. But I think we got him from Liverpool, I thought, originally, and then we sold him to Sheffield United or something like that, and then we sold him and he went back. I think he went to Millwall. After us or something random like that. So, West Ham, then Millwall. But Hutch is a great guy. Trying to get him on the show, actually. We had David James on the show the other day, and he was just I tried to get into WhatsApp him, so we'll see. So it's lucky using it. I put Hutch as well in, so there we go. So that's one we both use. So that's good.
Just Hutchinson. You signed him from Liverpool back in '94. Then sold him to Sheffield United, went to Everton, then came to Sunderland, and then we sold him to West Ham again. Played for. He was at the club at West Ham from 2001 to 2005, and only made 63 appearances. And then went to Millwall afterwards, which is an interesting move. I'm not quite so sure what you make of that one.
No, it's a strange one. Yeah. Okay, right. So put Hutch in. Okay, so Hutch is in. So who are we going to have next? Who's your next central midfielder then?
Right, another player who scored against Newcastle, and I think he was in the youth team at West Ham. He's from Greenwich, and then he went on to Man United's youth team. I've gone with Kieran Richardson.
Ah, yes.
Kieran Richardson. Now, Kieran Richardson was brilliant. I've got to say, brilliant. He was at Sunderland. We sold him to I think it was Fulham or something like that, because he needed to move back down south, because he said he had his daughter, and then he wanted to bring up his daughter near his parents, and then it was a shame. He said obviously for family reasons it was the right decision, but he said for my footballing career, he said I said that was it. That was it over. And he scored the most incredible. I don't know if you've ever seen it, Ross. The free kick he scored against Newcastle with his left foot. The referee. Oh, you've got to see. The referee blew the whistle. He took it, and within a fraction, it was like Concorde. It was like double the speed of sound, and it was straight in the back of the net. The referee blew the whistle. Shay Given in goal for Newcastle was like that, and it was in the back of the net, and it was the most incredible strike you'll ever see with his left foot. And that's what he's well remembered for. And everyone asks him, "Oh, Kieran, what's your best memory at Sunderland?" It's always a free kick, and that's what he's known for. But he was a very good player. Another player actually also played left back as well for Sunderland. But he absolutely brilliant, Kieran Richardson.
He was on our youth team. You're right, and he was again. Same as you said, someone who plays for Sunderland and scores against Newcastle is an idol. Do you know what I was struggling? I put Christian Basila in because I was struggling, but I think Kieran Richardson would be a far better choice. I'll be honest, far better choice than Christian Basila.
He was absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, he was a great player and played for England and stuff like that as well. So we'll put them in. Right, okay. So there we go. Lots of long words. There's lots of long surnames, isn't there? Here we go. The old club shop we're doing with the Goodwill for the old in the back of the shirts. Right. Okay. So up front. Who's your first striker?
Yeah, well, I've got 2 strikers up front. One who played for both, and one that's never played for Sunderland, but we remember him very well. I'll go with the person who's played for both first.
Yeah,
and that's obviously going to have to be Jermaine Defoe.
Yeah.
Jermaine Defoe was just. Well, I mean, let's just say my favorite ever player in my lifetime. My favorite ever player, without a doubt. Jermaine Defoe, at the age of 34 years old, when he was at Sunderland, people have said before he's by far the fittest player, in the club, and it's just the way he lived his life. He was such a great professional, such a great guy as well. I think everyone that I've done Sunderland 11s with, they've either had to put, like sort of the Kevin Phillips, Niall Quinn, or they've had to put, Jermaine Defoe in there. And Jermaine Defoe, it was such an incredible finisher, and even just a lovely guy off the pitch as well. He always wanted to have a conversation with the fans. He always wanted to. He just that's it. He just loved people. He bought into the area, because I think to play at Sunderland, you have to sort of, I don't think Sunderland's just like any other club where a player can go, I'll just go there for a few years and play, because it doesn't work. Your football career at Sunderland won't work if you just think it's just any other club, because it's an interesting area. It's like a different world, and that's someone who bought into the area, and he just loved people. And I don't know if you saw the little kid Bradley Lowry as well.
Yeah.
He did so much work for him, and obviously Defoe's got an OBE now for all that charity work that he helped do. So he's just an incredible guy.
Yeah, he is, and I think there was, not on all honesty, there was a little bit of animosity when he left, because he got relegated. And he put a transfer request in the day after, by all accounts, and that was, he actually started the season with us that season in the Championship. But I think he's since come out and said, I made a bit of a mistake there. So, I like the fact when people can say that, hands up and go, yeah, maybe you shouldn't have done that in hindsight. And he's still the most natural striker I've seen, apart from maybe Tony Cottee, but even him I never saw Tony Cottee in his prime, but Defoe was the most natural goal scorer. He was a proper fox in the box, and obviously he's still doing the bits, as the kids would say, for Rangers.
Rangers. So, yeah, well, I mean, there's so many things, still. I mean, I think Defoe's going to leave Rangers, and we want him to come back, because he's not ready to hang up his boots yet.
Yeah.
And also as well, Defoe left us when we got relegated as well, and I don't think anyone can blame him for that, really, because I think he wanted to stay in the England squad, and there was whoever put that clause in his contract to say he could leave for free when we get relegated. I'm not too sure. But also, one more thing on Defoe, and you might like this as well. When he played for West Ham, he scored the winner against Sunderland for West Ham, and my mum was at a game my dad did. My mum was pregnant with me, so I think my first ever Sunderland game was Sunderland against West Ham, with Defoe scoring the winner for West Ham. So
never really had a chance, did you? Never really had a chance.
No.
Right, we'll put Jermaine in. Right, so I'll put him as well. So he's in. So there's one more spot in this team. There's one more spot in this random team, but I quite like it in a weird way. Who's this is your curveball. So who is it? Who is your curveball?
It's Paolo Di Canio.
I was thinking he was going to come up.
Well, it's Paolo Di Canio, and look, I mean, he won 2 games. He only won 2 games in the Premier League for Sunderland as manager, but the 2 games that he won, well, one game in particular, we hadn't beaten Newcastle for, God, I think it was 13 years at St James's Park.
Yeah.
And it was sort of that time of, every time we went there, we sort of got beat. We got beat 5-1, and then every time we went there, sort of 1-1, close games. We went there once, Paolo Di Canio. He was the second game in charge, and we thought, Paolo Di Canio, why we've appointed him, I do not know. And we went there, thought we're going to get smashed, and we beat him 3-0. And you have to say that it's his celebrations for all 3 goals. The first one, he just jumped up and punched, because you don't see managers celebrate these goals as much. You might see them go. You might see them go like that or whatever, but you don't see them knee slide. You don't see Paolo Di Canio just run and just knee slide in his suit. Yeah. And he just got involved in everything. The week after, we beat Everton at home, and then there's a video on YouTube of him, congratulating all of his players as they went off the pitch. All the players went off on the pitch. The fans were still in the stadium. He ran onto the pitch and just punched the air, and he was giving it all that. And you just don't see it from a manager. But I mean, the season after, it was quite. I think he was. I don't know, a little bit too tough on the players. Banning the ketchup ban, and just the non-stop. It was not non-stop really. I think he had a lot of falling outs with a lot of players, and I think in the end the players had to have a meeting and say, "Listen, he's such a nutcase. We can't have him as our manager because we're all losing the plot here." But I've only put him in because of that game against Newcastle, and to see someone such a passionate man. Yeah, and it was a great player. I think he's one of your favourite ever players, isn't he?
He's my favourite ever West Ham player. Yeah, he was. He's an incredible, just incredible. Yeah, just he was one of those players who, just an entertainer. You know, you'd go and watch the games, and you'd go just to see him play. You'd just go to see, not even play, just him turn up, because you didn't know what Di Canio was going to turn up. And yeah, he was absolutely. It was just. I don't know. Words cannot explain. He's one of those players, and you get a few of them where you start, when you talk about him, you start smiling. And he did. And as I said, as a manager, yeah, I would never put him anywhere near the club as a manager. I'll be perfectly honest, because I just think he'll be. I could see him rubbing up people the wrong way. I mean, I tell you who I put in. We're going to put Di Canio in because he can be player manager, and therefore we get away with it. I've already come up with a caveat already. Within one episode, I've already broken every rule I've already going to put into this. So we'll put Paolo in because it's Paolo. I had, and again, this is before your. Well, actually, no, I had there was three. There was three strikers we could have had. Lee Chapman.
Mm-hmm.
You remember it before your time, Lee Chapman was, but he obviously played quite a few games for West Ham as well. Who else? Ashley Fletcher.
Oh God.
Ashley Fletcher. He scored. I thought it was all right. Ashley Fletcher. He was a promising young lad. So he was a promising young lad. And who was the other one I had? Brian Dean.
Mm.
Brian Dean played for both anyway. And I'm sure people go, actually, it was this person. Everyone can pick whoever they want, but I'm going to pick Di Canio because it's my series and because it's Paolo. And any excuse to pick Paolo Di Canio in the team, that ain't bad. I don't think it would travel. It wouldn't travel very well, I don't think, with Di Canio and Defoe up front. And Christ hopes we didn't go down because they'd both leave. But yeah, you got a bit of guile there with old Don, Deadly Don coming in, Richardson.
Absolutely.
You got Downing, you got McCartney, you got Bridge, you got Callum Davenport, you got Jimmy Walker. We'll have a giggle, whatever, mate. We'll have a giggle, whatever happens with that team.
Absolutely. Also, if I had a manager as well, I'd definitely choose Sam Allardyce to manage them as well.
Oh well, that's interesting because it's like, I'd have to pick David Moyes.
Yeah, do you know? I think so many things of sort of David Moyes, and my dad talks to his mates who are West Ham fans as well about David Moyes, and I think I don't know what has got into David Moyes at West Ham, but when he was at Sunderland, I mean, I've never seen. Oh gosh, he was, to put it this way, he was given more resources, more money than any other manager in any previous years, and you have to say every single one of his signings was a failure, and he just, and after the second game he said we're going to be in a relegation fight, and you just think, what is this guy talking about? What is he doing? And we went down that season with absolutely no fight whatsoever, and a lot of Sunderland fans really, really don't like him because he just, like, we had so much faith when he came. Obviously, losing Allardyce to England, we understood that it was horrible. When David Moyes came in, we all thought, oh, do you know what? This isn't a bad appointment. You know how well he did at Everton. And he came in and it was just like a moment from he came in, it was like the mentality of we're going to be in a relegation fight before the season even started, and we got relegated that season with no fight whatsoever. So I think a lot of Sunderland fans, we don't really like. It wasn't like he came in, we all thought, oh no, not Moyes, and the whole season, oh, not Moyes. We all had faith in Moyes when he came in, and just, I don't know what he did. He just was just a failure, really. So to see what he's doing at West Ham, I don't know why he just didn't do that at Sunderland. I do not know.
Well, I think it's the same everywhere. I think it's. I think for a lot of fans, the first time he came in, it was a stopgap, and he did the job. He had to keep us up, and he kept us up. And then he came back, and I think everyone respected him for coming back as well. Do you know what I mean? Because it took some bottle to come back, despite and he does, and it does seem like he's building this sort of new Everton. in my opinion. There is he's getting the backroom staff in. There does seem to be a bit of momentum coming through, but we shall see. We shall see, my friends. We shall see.
Yeah.
Anyway, well done for the inaugural episode of the inaugural episode. That is the right word, I think. Of where's my I've lost my banner of outside the bubble. Outside the bubble. So hopefully everyone enjoyed it. It's a bit of fun. It's something a bit different. We're still, I mean, Matt's still doing his My Sunderland's 11. I'm doing Miami's 11s. It's just something different. Talking to other people outside the clubs.
Exactly.
Why not? There's a whole world outside of West Ham. I know it's hard to believe, people, but there is sometimes. There's another 91 clubs I've got to interview, but we've done one, so 90 to go.
The best one.
The best one. Well, I don't know how many Forest Green players have played. I might have to put a caveat on this. But anyway, Matt, mate, it's been lovely chatting to you, and I'm really proud of everything. I'm really grateful for everything you're doing with the Sunderland 11. It's really, really good, man. It's lovely to see, and thank you, and thank you to everyone for watching, subscribing, sharing, whatever. For myself and for Matt, take care, everyone. Stay safe. Wash those hands. Get those jabs. I'll say, come on, you irons, and you'll say,
away the lads.
Away the lads. That's a nice little ending. I quite like that. Yeah. I'm going to do it for every episode. And I've ruined it now because I've spoken about it. Anyway, take care, everyone. Much love. Bye-bye.